All right, come on in, guys. Type in freedom now, freedom now. We have some break-in and important immigration news to cover tonight. Say hello and, of course, say where you're joining from. I'm LaToya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients everywhere. But tonight, I want to talk with you about some historical. Type in historical because we're going to talk about some historical immigration issues in this one. So pull up a chair and be sure to share this live session with others. And after this broadcast, certainly share this with those who you care about, who you think would benefit from this information. Today, we received a couple of breaking news that I'm going to discuss. Number one, USCIS is fully shifting to a law enforcement model. That's number one. Number two, the citizenship test. We learned some very important details today from the director of USCIS about his vision for the naturalization tests. Okay. And that includes creating a standardized test, a standardized naturalization exam in which people will go in and sit down and fill out multiple choice questions and write an essay. And then thirdly, the other big thing that we will be discussing tonight is the fact that 10,000 new ICE officers are ready to go. And there will be a major surge and flooding of the zones, I guess, in sanctuary jurisdictions across the United States. So we're going to touch on that at the very end. But the most important news tonight certainly has to do with the fact that USCIS, guys, USCIS started this year by sharing with the world that their intent is to help ICE carry out its law enforcement functions. And then little by little, day by day, they were tweeting and putting stuff out there to the world to show that they have been helping with the arrest of individuals at their office. They've also been sharing data and information to ICE on individuals who have committed fraud or are suspected of committing fraud. And so they've been behind the scenes turning over records, arranging these scenarios in which folks will be arrested at their field offices. But today, they finally have said that we will have law enforcement officers right there on site that will have firearms on them, guns, and they will be ready to prosecute, not just arrest, but to prosecute individuals. And also, the director of USCIS will be carrying out expedited removal orders. Let's go right into it. If you'd like to see what the rest of the community is seeing here, TikTok and Instagram, certainly you could jump over to McBean Immigration TV, okay, where you will see what I'm about to share now. So here is today's USCIS press release in which it says here that USCIS to add special agents with new law enforcement authorities. Double tap the screen on TikTok as you're watching this session. Now, the press release says that USCIS is now authorized to expand its law enforcement authorities, and newly minted USCIS 1811 classified officers, commonly known as special agents, will be empowered to investigate, arrest, and present for prosecution those who violate America's immigration laws under a final rule that was published today. Now, the director of USCIS said today in an interview that all that they're doing with respect to these law enforcement activities and will be doing through their law enforcement activities, in addition to everything else that they have been doing, they want to chill fraud. They want to have a chilling effect on fraud, not a chilling effect on individuals who are trying to get a green card the right way, trying to become US citizens the right way, people who are just regular, average people who are qualified for these benefits. They're not trying to chill you, so to speak, from pursuing your benefit. They're trying to chill fraud. So I do want to say that. Okay. In all fairness, that's what he said his intent is. But let's keep going here because this is going to get very serious very soon. It also says here in the final rule, the DHS authorities provided to USCIS. In this final rule, the DHS authorities provided to USCIS include making arrests, carrying firearms, executing search and arrest warrants, and other powers standard for federal law enforcement. This rule allows USCIS to implement Secretary Noem's delegation of certain law enforcement authorities to the agency, and it allows USCIS to thoroughly fulfill its national security, fraud detection, and public safety missions related to immigration adjudications. But let's go down a little bit here in which it says that USCIS, and this is a statement from the director, Edlo, USCIS has always been an law enforcement agency. And by upholding the integrity of our immigration system, we enforce the laws of this nation. Through this delegation, guys, I want you to hear what I'm about to say. Through this delegation, which came from the Secretary of Homeland Security, Noem, to Edlo, USCIS, the delegation. The USCIS director has the authority to order expedited removal, which is the fast track deportation, expedited removal, and investigate civil and criminal violations of the immigration laws. So they're making it clear here that the agency will be carrying out expedited removal orders. Things are going to get very interesting very soon when they really try to implement some of these powers. USCIS will have greater capacity to support DHS's efforts by handling investigations from start to finish, instead of just referring cases over to Homeland Security investigation, HSI, within ICE. This will allow ICE, HSI, and ERO, which is the enforcement side of things, ERO, to focus on disrupting transnational crime and capturing and deporting illegal aliens. USCIS will be able to more efficiently clear its backlogs of aliens who seek to exploit our immigration system through fraud, prosecute them, and remove them. So USCIS says, yes, we know by Congress, we've been mandated to be a benefits issuing agency, review your applications and make a decision about it. That's truly our congressional mandate. However, we're also going to be doing some prosecutions and removals. I'm not sure how they're going to carry out all of those functions. So this is what you call expansion of powers, and they no longer want to refer you over or individuals over to ICE. They want to be able to take care of all of that in-house. USCIS plans to recruit and train special agents who will exercise the additional law enforcement authorities. Now, that's the press release from today. And the clear takeaway from that is that USCIS envisions a process in which individuals walk into their office, their field offices, and you immediately sense that you're in a law enforcement environment. There will be officers there with guns, not just those at the security line, right? Checking you in and making sure you don't have any weapons on yourself, on you. No, you will go in there, pass those people, and then still sense that you're in a very serious law enforcement environment. And when you go before that immigration officer, there's a possibility that you could be arrested if your case is suspected to be a fraud case. Now, ordinarily, they would, if they suspect that your case is a fraud case, what USCIS would normally do, and I'm going to jump back on the screen here, what they would normally do is send you a letter outlining what's going on, what they suspect, and then they will give you an opportunity to clear things up, clear the record. They will give you a timeline, a deadline to do so. And then you submit your response. They will then consider it. And if it's good, and you're approved. If it's not good, they will deny your case. And for most of you, that's the end of the story. But for others, that story doesn't end there. You are then placed potentially in removal, or you do an appeal and you continue to fight or refile your case. That's usually how it goes. But now they're saying, you know what? We're going to have people there ready to arrest you if we suspect that you are part of your case is a fraud case. That's what we're going to do. We don't need ICE to come over anymore because we are ICE. We're like ICE now. ICE Junior, maybe. I don't know. But this is very serious. And let's go into the other document that they've shared with us, which is the delegation document, the delegation of the authority to the director. Okay, let's go here. Hopefully you guys, okay, there you go. All right, so this is delegation to director. This is from Secretary Nome to Edlow, USCIS director. It says here that there are various powers that are vested in Secretary Nome to do various things, to delegate. And it says, pursuant to the authority vested in the Secretary of Homeland Security by law, I hereby delegate to the USCIS Director, number one, authority to order expedited removal. It's an order. The director or the officer who is interviewing you can order or recommend. That's a better word, I think. That's a less intense word. Recommend expedited removal. Okay, it says authority to order expedited removal. Number two, authority under what's also being delegated to the director is authority under the immigration laws to issue and execute detainers and warrants of arrest or removal, detain aliens, release aliens on bond. Does this sound like a judiciary process to you, a judicial process to you? Release aliens on bond and other appropriate conditions as provided by law, and remove aliens from the United States. This is some serious power here. Number three, also the director will have the authority to investigate alleged civil and criminal violations of immigration laws within the jurisdiction of USCIS. Not that big of a deal, but although there's the criminal side of things that's interesting here, including but not limited to issuance and execution of warrants and making recommendations for prosecutions or other appropriate action when deemed advisable, guys. Um, this is the delegated authority that is part of what happened with USCIS today in this final rule. Okay, so let's just jump back on the screen. Your thoughts, your thoughts. Type in your thoughts, okay? Type in your thoughts. So this is a very big deal. And again, the purpose that they've said of all of this is to deter or chill fraud, not deter and chill regular ordinary people, not deter and chill regular ordinary people from looks like I lost these folks here. Give me a second. Let's get them back on the screen. Not to chill those of you who are doing something right. Okay, those of you who are doing something right, you shouldn't be that concerned. Of course, though, you will still feel a great deal, maybe of intimidation and fear walking into that building, knowing that this is the circumstance now. It's a law enforcement agency. Okay, so that's the first big thing that happened today, unfortunately. The second big news, guys, has to do with this. TikTok, I'm sorry, I lost you guys. I don't know what happened there. Um, the second issue, guys, is we got a little glimpse into the major changes that are coming to the naturalization process as envisioned by this current director who have all these expanded powers now. Um, his vision, guys, is really something because he's talking about a standardized test. He said that the naturalization test is too easy and that we really don't know whether these individuals seeking naturalization really have a true allegiance to the Constitution and to America. They're just answering a bunch of very easy questions. And it really shouldn't be like that. I'm going to play a clip. That's what he said. It shouldn't be like that. I'm going to play a clip from his interview today. And I want you guys to take a listen to this. I think this is the right one.
Another area of vetting, kind of in a sense, is the citizenship test. You're not vetting for, kind of bad activities, but you're trying to see if a candidate for citizenship sort of clears a certain bar and would qualify. You all have announced some, at least plans to maybe somehow change that or make it harder or more questions or something. What is USCIS planning on doing there?
Simply put, I want to see the naturalization process returned to where I believe it should have been under, based on what the Congress has said, based on what the statute says. We're looking for attachment to the Constitution. We're looking for an understanding of the civic responsibility of being a U.S. citizen. We're looking for actual understanding and ability to read and speak and write the English language. And frankly, this test is just too easy. 6 out of 10 questions right now is what people have to get right. We also expect people to read a sentence on a tablet and then they're told to write a sentence on a tablet.
Right.
So, we need to make it a little bit more challenging. We've got to make sure that people are actually understanding what it means to be a U.S. citizen, what it means to get that benefit. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to make the test harder in terms of making the questions a little bit more thought-provoking. I'm looking at other potential ways to move forward. I might even consider, if possible, moving to a standardized test format and actually have to do that and write an essay on what does it mean to me to be an American. And let's see what people actually understand, because being able to be coached through this process right now is not something that should be allowed, and that should be that easy. And I'm seeing it, unfortunately. I've had great conversations with adjudicators in the field in various offices, and I don't like what I'm hearing. They're worried, and they're looking forward to it. They're thanking me for doing what I'm doing, which pretty much all this comes down to is I am declaring war on fraud. I am declaring war on anyone that is coming to this country and wants to get a benefit but doesn't want the responsibility of what it means to actually be a U.S. citizen.
All right. So he says that he is declaring war on fraud and he envisions a standardized test. How many of you really like that, right? A standardized test. Standardized test, potentially a standardized test with an essay and thought-provoking questions that they will, of course, use their discretion to grade you on to determine whether you've passed it or not, is where they're going. They're going to a place of fewer citizens. That's really the place that they're shifting to. It's called fewer citizens. That's welcome to fewer citizens. That's what this is. And so that's kind of that's terrible. I think there's no other way of saying it. Yes, I agree that maybe there should be another way of determining one's allegiance and fidelity, so to speak, maybe to the US Constitution, our government, and you've got to love it. You've got to want it. Yeah, I think citizenship is something that you really have to desire and want, and you want to contribute and do help this country. That should be the heart of everyone seeking naturalization. And most people are like that. They are super excited and want to become a US citizen. I have not met anyone who wasn't truly, truly in their heart of hearts wanting to become a US citizen and just make this a better place. There are ways of getting to that heart of people. First, it's not through a standardized test. Standardized tests exclude people. That's what I think. So that was pretty interesting today, and I didn't get a chance to listen to his entire interview. That's the part that I caught there. Lastly, guys, before we go, I want to mention that ICE is they're growing. Okay, they're growing, and now that USCIS is taking on law enforcement activities to arrest individuals and prosecute them and release them on bond and do all of that big stuff now. There will obviously be more ICE agents who are freed up to do more things. And so Tom Homan he said yesterday that 10,000 new ICE agents are ready to go, and they're going to flood the zone in various sanctuary cities. The top 3 cities that have been mentioned in the media so far include Chicago, Portland, Oregon, and Seattle. Those are the 3 where a surge is expected. So if you are in one of those cities or any big city for that matter, it's important for you to understand and remember and refresh yourself in the rights that we all have here, and to be careful with your level of resistance, guys, and also be careful, US citizens, with your involvement in that resistance, so to speak, because you yourself could get in trouble, and they are trying to grab more US citizens into the mix of, see, you should not have done that to us. You should not have touched us. You should not have interfered, because look how far we went with this. We're trying to prosecute you and all of that. So be careful, and just know your rights, and also know your limitations as well. So guys, those are the 3 big things that are happening today, on this Thursday, that I wanted to discuss with you. I'm going to answer just a couple of questions before we go. This is not really a Q&A session per se, but I just want to give some time to some of the feedback. Maybe we'll do that. If you have feedback or thoughts, things that you'd like to share, I'm going to switch my screen right now and share some of your thoughts. Okay, I'm not gonna curse on tonight's broadcast. I pulled up the wrong one by mistake. Carol says, thank you for taking time out to inform us. Carol, thank you so much for watching. Let's see who else what other thoughts or questions you guys have related to this. Um, Citizens do play a very big part in what's happening. As far as the pushback is concerned, citizens have the responsibility of making their voices known and their concerns known, and to follow the law as well. Okay, so it's going to take communities coming together. It's going to take lawyers fighting for people and pushing back. It's going to take everybody working together to ensure that we still get to enjoy the liberties that we have here in the United States. Let's see, what other comment do you guys have? Someone says, wow, they are asking for way too much, a standardized test. Now, this is just something that you heard the director say today. We're not there yet. We're not at the point where there is a standardized exam for naturalization, but that's really where he wants to take this. He wants it to be like, I don't know, the SATs, God forbid, right? I mean, a standardized process. um, if you're committing fraud with respect to information that you have on your I-601A, maybe, but usually people who submit the I-601A waiver are not called in for an interview. They do not have an appearance at USCIS's office. The times when they do have an appearance at USCIS's field office is with respect to maybe the I-130 process. And if you're at the 601A stage, you're way past the I-130 process, okay? Let's see. Is there a way that we could go around not having to take the test? Yes, there are some individuals who do not have to take the test. You'll see that information on USCIS's website under naturalization, but most everyone else have to take the test, okay? S- If you arrived in the United States after 2001 on an I-94 and you've overstayed, and you filed an I-45, do you still have to pay the $1,000 penalty for 245I? Well, it doesn't sound like, Barry, like you might even be eligible for the 245I process. I mean, you have lawful entry into the United States. You can contact us to talk one-on-one about what is going on there. But I don't think that you might not be eligible for that. Is overstaying your visa considered fraud? Remember, this is someone is asking, this is a government that believes that anyone who is in the United States without um, lawful status today is considered a criminal. Okay, that's how they view everyone. They're considered a criminal. But as far as the visa overstay is concerned, they do not go after visa overstays for fraud unless it's with respect to how you obtain the visa. Did you lie on your visa application in order to get that visa, or did you lie at the border when the officer asked you various questions, and then based on your lie, they said, "Come on in," so that those actions are considered fraud. But just by virtue of overstaying your visa, that's not considered fraud, so to speak, for the purpose of needing a waiver. Okay. Let's see. Um, Lily says that we are worried, we are concerned. Lily, I think most of people are concerned who are touching immigration. Someone says, Carolina says, this is too much. It is, we're going to get through this together. It's a lot. And every day, as you can see, they're pushing the envelope. It's going further and further because here you have USCIS having they're setting in place law enforcement officers with guns. These are not just security guards. They're able to arrest people. They're able to prosecute people. They're able to issue an order for a person's expedited removal. They're able to issue bond for people's release. So USCIS to me is 100% a law enforcement agency right now. Okay, 100%. 100%. All right. 100%. All right. So now let's keep going. If an immigrant tries to cross the border after a deportation order, which he should not do, does he have a chance of returning to the United States? This is not the day and age where, folks should be doing something like that. All right. I'm just going to just say that, because, um, it sounds to me like obviously you have a number of issues going on there. You should not be crossing the border after being removed from the United States. You're facing a significant uphill battle. You will face a significant uphill battle. Okay. This is not the time to do something like that. It never really is the time. You guys, if you're out there plotting fraud and things like that, you've just got to take a step back and say, wait a minute, what am I doing? Don't do that. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth being arrested and your life being torn apart from your family. Don't do that. All right. Let's see, where else do we go? Let's see. What if you have a removal order and you're trying to go through the adjustment of status process? So USCIS still has the authority to see adjustment of status applications for some people. Okay, most individuals will need to get their removal case reopened and terminated before they're able to pursue adjustment of status. This is a process that we're still doing. Everything is risky with immigration today, but it is really worth taking the risk in some cases, and you should understand what your risk level is and your chance of success before you jump in and file a case with immigration. Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen. Let's keep going. So far away. Let's do that. Let's keep going. Lorna says, thank you so much for sharing this information. Truly appreciate you highlighting these important matters. Thank you so much, Lorna. I have a lot going on too as well tonight. I see that some people have jumped off, and I have to jump off as well. Guys, there's a lot going on with immigration. Thank you for the encouraging words. You guys need to be encouraged as well and keep pressing on despite what we're seeing every day and with all of this craziness. Keep the faith. I share a lot of good news stories, not just ours. You notice that I've been very generous with my platform to share your stories, your good news stories. Why? Because there's a lot of credibility in what you say. And so I've been trying each week to share your good news with the world, those who are listening, so that others can be encouraged. So you guys keep sharing your testimonies with me, keep sharing your good news. Let's just keep the positive going, and the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome the light. So you guys keep the faith. We're in this together. This is a great, wonderful community, despite the things that happen here and there. You guys are with others who are trying to infiltrate the light that we're shining. Let's continue to shine this light brightly in the face of all of these challenges that we're facing. We're in it together. We're in it to win it. And there's a lot of winning still going on. So keep the faith. Friends, tomorrow is Friday. We have a newsletter coming out tomorrow. If you have not yet subscribed to our newsletter, subscribe tonight at McBeanlaw.com/subscribe so that you will get our weekly news roundup. And I am going to see if we can even send an email that summarizes what I've discussed tonight about USCIS and what it means. If we have time, we might even get out an email about it. Not tonight, but maybe by Saturday you'll get something. Maybe, we'll see. There's a lot happening. So stay plugged in, subscribe to our newsletter, McBeanlaw.com/subscribe. And then I will be back again before you on Monday. I'll be back live on social media throughout the weekend. We'll see, maybe 1 or 2 days over the weekend. Sunday, maybe we'll see. And I'll be back on Monday, 1 o'clock on YouTube on McBean Immigration TV for your Q&As and news summaries. So guys, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.